When we talk about connecting with them, whether them refers to friends, family members, colleagues, or even strangers, we are really discussing how to bridge the gap between our own experiences and those of others. Connection is fundamentally about empathy, understanding, and effective communication. Let's explore this concept further. Firstly, the foundation of any connection is genuine curiosity about the other person. Without this curiosity, our interactions can easily become superficial. Have you ever noticed how conversations can transform when we shift from speaking about generalities to asking about what truly matters to someone? This shift doesn't require grand gestures. Instead, it begins with a simple, open-ended question that invites a deeper dialogue. What drives their passion? What challenges are they facing? By showing genuine interest in their answers, we create a space where deeper connections can form. Moreover, listening is an art that we must cultivate to connect genuinely with others. True listening goes beyond just hearing words. It involves understanding the emotions and intentions behind those words. When you listen, do you listen to respond, or do you listen to understand? There's a substantial difference. Listening to understand requires us to quiet our own thoughts and preconceptions, to truly be present with the person sharing their experiences. This type of listening can be challenging because it asks us to temporarily suspend our own needs and fully engage with another's perspective. Empathy is the natural progression from listening. It's about putting ourselves in the shoes of another person, feeling what they might be feeling. However, empathy isn't just an emotional process, it's a cognitive one as well. It involves imagining ourselves in another's situation, which can be complex and uncomfortable. Yet, it's this discomfort that often leads to genuine connection. When was the last time you felt truly understood by someone? Chances are, it was a situation where the other person empathized deeply with your circumstances. Practical advice for cultivating empathy includes practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us to be present in the moment, aware of our own emotions and those of others without judgment. This presence is critical when trying to connect with someone else. It allows us to detect subtle cues in body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions, which are often more telling than words alone. Yet connecting with others isn't just about understanding them. It's also about letting ourselves be seen and understood. Vulnerability plays a crucial role here. It involves sharing our own emotions and experiences openly, which can be daunting because of the fear of judgment or rejection. However, vulnerability can significantly deepen connections, creating a mutual trust and openness that forms the bedrock of strong relationships. How can we expect others to open up if we are not willing to do the same? In conclusion to this part, connecting with others is not merely a skill, but a series of deliberate choices we make in our interactions. It starts with genuine curiosity, is deepened by empathetic listening, and is solidified through mutual vulnerability. As we move to the next part, think about how these elements currently play out in your interactions. Are there areas where you could be more curious, a better listener, or more open? Cultivating the garden of trust, the pillars of authentic communication. As we progress in our exploration of connecting with others, it's imperative to discuss the role of trust and authenticity in communication. These are not just buzzwords, but essential components that determine the depth and quality of our relationships. Trust is the soil in which relationships grow. Without it, even the most earnest efforts at connection will fail to flourish. Trust is built over time, through consistent actions and integrity. When we act congruently with our words, people begin to feel secure in our presence, believing that we are reliable and honest. But how do we establish trust in practical terms? It begins with small commitments. When you say you will call someone at a certain time, do it. These acts, though small, signal to others that you are dependable. Additionally, trust is reinforced by transparency. When we communicate openly, sharing not only our thoughts but also our intentions behind those thoughts, we invite others into our world. This transparency can be challenging, as it requires a high level of self-awareness and the courage to reveal our true selves. But ask yourself, how often have you felt closer to someone after they've shared their hopes, fears, or failures openly with you? Authentic communication also involves consistency. Our words and actions must align not just once but consistently over time. This consistency isn't about perfection but about being genuine and true to oneself. It's about ensuring that our external expressions match our internal states. Imagine the confusion and distrust that arises when someone's words do not match their actions. Now consider the opposite, how reassuring and comforting it is when they do. Another critical aspect of authentic communication is respect. This means not only respecting others' opinions and feelings, but also expressing our own views respectfully. It involves recognizing that each individual's perspective is valid and deserves consideration. Respectful communication encourages a safe environment where all parties feel valued, and this environment is conducive to deeper connections. Here's a practical tip. Practice active listening. This involves fully concentrating on what is being said rather than just passively hearing the speaker. Active listening can validate the speaker's feelings and promote a deeper understanding. This doesn't mean you always have to agree, but it does mean giving them your full attention and respect. By doing so, you're not just hearing their words, but you're also acknowledging their right to speak and be heard. Lastly, let's not forget about feedback. Constructive feedback, when delivered thoughtfully, can strengthen trust and understanding. It should be aimed not at criticizing, but at helping the other person grow. The way we frame our feedback, focusing on the situation rather than the person, can make a significant difference in how it's received. In wrapping up this part, building trust and practicing authentic communication are essential for deep and lasting connections. They require consistency, transparency, respect, and a commitment to mutual growth. As we look forward to the next section, consider how these elements of trust and authenticity appear in your current relationships. Are you nurturing the garden of trust effectively, or are there weeds of inconsistency and opacity that need addressing? Navigating the labyrinth of emotional intelligence, enhancing connection through self-awareness and regulation. In this part of our exploration into deepening connections, we pivot our focus towards emotional intelligence, a critical component that allows us to navigate complex human interactions effectively. Emotional intelligence is not merely about being aware of our own emotions. It extends to managing our emotions and recognizing as well as influencing the emotions of others in a positive way. The journey into emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. This involves understanding our own emotional states and how they affect our thoughts and actions. Are you aware of what triggers your emotional responses? Understanding these triggers is the first step in managing reactions that might otherwise disrupt communication and connection. For instance, if you know that certain topics make you defensive or anxious, acknowledging this can help you prepare and manage your emotions when these topics arise. Self-regulation follows self-awareness and is equally important. It involves managing your emotions in a way that enhances your personal values rather than contradicts them. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but understanding the appropriate time, place, and manner to express them. Effective self-regulation can prevent moments of heated emotion from escalating and affecting our relationships negatively. Moreover, emotional intelligence also encompasses empathy, as previously discussed, but let's delve deeper into how it facilitates connection. Empathy in emotional intelligence is about more than feeling what others feel. It's about responding appropriately to those feelings. This might mean offering support, providing space, or simply acknowledging their feelings without immediately trying to fix the issue. How do you respond when someone shares something personal or challenging with you? Your response can either open the door for deeper connection or shut it firmly. Social skills are the outward expression of emotional intelligence. These skills enable us to communicate effectively and build stronger relationships. This includes everything from simple interactions like how you greet someone to more complex negotiations or resolving conflicts. Enhancing your social skills involves practicing clear communication, learning to read social cues, and adapting your communication style to suit different situations and personalities. Here's a practical exercise to enhance your emotional intelligence. Practice reflective listening. This involves repeating back what someone has said to you, in your own words, to confirm understanding. This technique not only improves your listening skills but also shows that you value what the other person has said, thereby deepening the connection. Finally, emotional intelligence requires ongoing learning and adaptability. The more you practice being aware of and regulating your emotions, the more naturally it will come, and the more your relationships will benefit. As we conclude this part, reflect on how your emotional intelligence currently influences your relationships. Are there aspects of your emotional interactions that could be improved? How might enhanced emotional intelligence change the way you connect with others? Harmonizing boundaries and conflicts, keys to sustainable connections. In our final exploration of deepening connections, we turn our attention to the art of managing conflicts and setting boundaries, vital skills that safeguard relationships and promote lasting harmony. Conflict is an inevitable part of human relationships. Rather than avoiding conflict, effective conflict resolution can actually strengthen bonds. The key is not just in resolving conflicts as they arise, but in doing so in a way that respects both parties' needs and feelings. This begins with understanding that conflicts are not battles to be won, but opportunities for mutual growth and understanding. Effective conflict resolution involves several key strategies. First, always approach conflicts with a mindset aimed at finding a solution rather than assigning blame. This shifts the focus from confrontation to collaboration. Secondly, practice active listening during conflicts. This means really hearing the other person's perspective without planning your rebuttal while they speak. When both parties feel heard, the resolution becomes more attainable. Another powerful tool in conflict resolution is the use of I statements. By framing your thoughts and feelings around I rather than you reduce the chances of the other person feeling attacked, which can escalate the conflict. For example, saying I feel overlooked when decisions are made without my input is more constructive than saying you never consider my opinions. While managing conflicts is crucial, equally important is the ability to set and respect boundaries. Boundaries are the guidelines we set for ourselves and others regarding what we find acceptable and unacceptable in behavior. They are essential for maintaining respect and protecting our well-being in relationships. Setting boundaries openly and clearly is not an act of selfishness. Rather, it's a profound form of self-respect and respect for others. It communicates clearly what is expected in a relationship, helping to prevent misunderstandings and resentment. For instance, if you need time alone to recharge, express this need clearly rather than allowing yourself to become drained and potentially resentful. Respecting boundaries also includes acknowledging and honoring the limits set by others. This respect builds trust and shows that you value the relationship and the other person's comfort. Here's a practical step to setting boundaries. Be assertive but kind. When you express your boundaries, do so clearly and respectfully, without being apologetic. Assertiveness isn't about being aggressive. It's about being honest and direct about your needs and expectations. As we conclude this series on connecting with them in any situation, remember that each of these skills, cultivating trust, practicing authentic communication, enhancing emotional intelligence, resolving conflicts, and setting boundaries, are intertwined and collectively contribute to deeper, more meaningful connections. Reflect on the relationships in your life where these skills could be applied or improved. How might enhancing these areas change the dynamics of these relationships? True connection is an ongoing process, a dance of give and take that evolves as we grow and learn more about ourselves and others. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the art of connection. May your relationships flourish as you apply these insights and strategies.